Look, man, you can't grow if you keep lying to yourself. You can't grow if you keep making excuses, if you keep turning the blame on everything else. You got to take accountability. And I suffer from this too every single day. Like, we're humans, we do not want to take accountability. We don't want to be the reason we fail. We don't want to be the reason that we take a step back or we hit a roadblock. We like to make excuses. We like to turn the blame on everything else. We like to say that we're tired or this didn't work out our way because of this. Oh, that guy got lucky. Like, we like to make excuses. We like to not take responsibility. We don't like to take accountability. We like to turn the blame on everything else. But the only way that we can start moving forward and we can take steps forward on our progress and on our journey is to start taking accountability. If you want different results, if you want success, if you want progress being made, it starts with accountability. It starts with responsibility. Like, it starts with that. You got to own up to what you got going on. You got to own up to your life. You got to own up to your actions. You got to stop blaming and we got to start owning. It's not your parents. It's not your friends. It's not your boss. It's not because of your past. It's not because it's too hot outside or you went to sleep too late. Like, it's the choices you're making right now. Like, this very second. It's those choices that determine what goes on in your life. Blame is always going to feel good short term. Excuses are always going to feel good, in the short term because you feel like it's not on you. But in all reality, like, it is on you. Like, it's your life. You got to take accountability for that. Ownership builds growth long term. Ownership builds progress. It builds momentum in the long term. Like, this can go with that temporary feeling of gratification or that temporary feeling of pleasure. Like, blame only feeds into that instant gratification. Excuses only feed into that, instant gratification, that instant pleasure. Because later on, like, you gonna think about it when you land in your bed, like, wow, I should have did this differently. Like, why did I make an excuse, or why did I blame this person or blame that person? Like, it only feels good short term. It's only temporary. So why not take accountability for what you did? Why not take accountability for the reason, this happened or that happened? Take ownership, take accountability, build your progress long term, build growth long term, and get to a point where excuses or turning the blame don't even pop up. Get to that point. When you get to that point is when you learn accountability, you master accountability. Because, like I said, this is something that I know everybody struggles with on a daily basis. Like, I struggle with on a daily basis. Like, today, bro, I'll just be honest. It is 10:37 right now, PM. I've had an immense amount of time to make a video today, but I just didn't want to do it. No, I'm not making excuses. Well, I did make an excuse a little earlier. Like, we had games today, but like, that's not an excuse, bro. Like, I got 24 hours to make a video. I could have woke up early and made it. I could have made it, as soon as I got back from my games instead of doing, going to dinner or whatever I was doing. Like, that's on me. I got to take accountability for that. And I don't grow. I don't make progress. I don't take steps forward until I own that. Until I say, okay, like, I had so much time during this day. Why am I just not making a video at 10:38 p.m.? Why is this video not gonna get posted until 11:30 p.m.? Like, after editing and all that. Like, that's on me. I gotta own that. I gotta take accountability with that. And I'm only growing when I take accountability. I'm only, growing when I take ownership. And aside from this whole video, like, posting these late videos, that's on me. Like, I'm gonna get better with that. That's one of my goals for the rest of this month, is to use my time more wisely. So the late videos are gonna stop. You got my promise. You got my word. These late videos are gonna stop, like, just now. But back to the topic. Like, we got to be honest about where we're falling short. We got to be honest about where we're coming up short. Like, are you really doing the work? Are you really following through on what you said you'll do? Are you really keeping your promises that you've said to people? Are you keeping your word to people? Because those things build trust with the people around you and with yourself. When you're honest with yourself, you're building trust within yourself. When you're honest with the people around you, you're building trust with those people around you. Accountability and responsibility isn't shame. It isn't guilt. It isn't, feeling bad for yourself. It's just a form of self-respect. Like, you gotta respect yourself enough to take accountability. You gotta respect yourself enough to take responsibility for what you did, for your actions, for your wrongdoings or your right doings. Like, you gotta take accountability for what you got going on, because that's self-respect. Like I just said, like, there's no reason I should be making a video at 10:40 p.m. right now. But I respect myself enough to be honest with myself about what I can change and what I can do differently, or where I'm falling short. What I can do to make these videos come out earlier, or make these videos earlier in the day. Like, I respect myself enough to take accountability about that or take ownership of that. So you got to respect yourself enough to do the same thing, whether it be with, people in your life, or, mental things, internal things, like anything, bro. Like, you just got to be honest with yourself about where you're falling short, or you got to be honest with yourself about what might have went wrong that led you down that path, or what might have led you to make that choice. You got to be honest with yourself about that. You got to take ownership over these things, and you got to check in with yourself. Like, it's hard to keep mental notes, bro. Like, write these things down, have mental check-ins, because success requires check-ins. Ask yourself these questions, like, what did I do today to move forward? What did I do today to take steps forward and make progress? What did I do today that is gonna, make me get closer to my dreams, get closer to my goals? Where did I waste time? Where could have, used my time more wisely? What excuse did I make today that held me back? What turn of blame did I, turn the blame on that held me back? Like, you gotta check in with yourself. You gotta ask yourself these things, because if you don't check in with yourself, and if you don't ask yourself these things, like, it's easy to get lost in the sauce. That was crazy. But it's easy to get lost in, all your thoughts, and, all these different goals you got going on. So I suggest you write them down. Like I've always said, like, I got this board behind the camera that has all my goals on it for the month, for the quarter, for the year, whatever. But success requires check-ins. Like, daily reflection equals daily improvement. This could be morning reflections. This could be, middle of the day reflections. This could be late night reflections. Like, bro, reflect on what you got going on. Reflect on your goals. Reflect on what you said you were going to change. Because if you don't reflect on it, like, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to change it. If you don't check in on these goals, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to achieve them. If you just think about a goal one day and never think about it again, like, you're not going to do anything to better yourself, to get closer to that goal. You're not going to do anything to make progress towards that goal. You know what I'm saying? So you got to check in with yourself. You got to reflect on everything you're trying to do, because daily reflection equals daily improvement. Like, success requires check-ins, and you don't need motivation either, bro. You don't need motivation. I've said this from day one of this channel. Like, you don't need motivation. You just need to have standards. You just need to hold yourself to a higher standard than everybody else, because you're the person trying to be the best version of yourself. You're the person trying to achieve your goals, trying to achieve your dreams, trying to, be at the top, trying to be successful. That's where you're trying to be. So you got to hold yourself to a higher standard. You got to hold yourself to a standard and be disciplined, whether you feel like it or whether you don't. You got to hold yourself to a standard, because that's how you build trust with yourself. And this goes back to being honest with yourself about what you're doing wrong or where you're falling short. When you hold yourself to this higher standard, like, you're only building trust within yourself, because you know that you're waking up every day and you're meeting this standard. You know that you're waking up every day and meeting that bar that you've already set for yourself, because consistency is going to be built when nobody's watching. Discipline is going to be built when nobody's watching. Mastering accountability is going to be built when nobody's watching. So hold yourself to that standard, whatever that standard may be. Like, you can set it wherever you want, but hold yourself to that standard every day. And that's going to build these things and help you master these things when nobody's watching. It's integrity. Like, nobody knows what standards you hold yourself to. Nobody knows that. Nobody's supposed to know that, because you don't want nobody watching. You don't want nobody knowing what you got going on. But if you hold yourself to this standard every single day, you know that you're building trust within yourself. You know that you're mastering consistency. You know that you're mastering discipline, accountability, self-control, like anything. So you got to hold yourself to a higher standard than everybody else. Like, don't be motivated. Just know that you have a standard to meet every day, and go out there and meet that standard. Go out there and do what it takes to make sure you reach that bar every single day. Go out there and do what it takes to get past that bar every day, like past that standard every day. You don't need motivation to do that. You just need discipline. You just need consistency. You just need standards. You don't need motivation. I'm going to say that in every single video. Like, motivation is not always going to be there. And I'm at a point right now in my life, or this journey that I'm on, that I'm just going to be honest, like, I have not been motivated at all. Like, at all. But I've still posted a video every day. I've still, got up, worked out, ate good, cooked, whatever, film videos, edit videos, post videos every day. Like, but I have not been motivated to do that. I've not been motivated at all at this point, because there's a lot of stuff going on. I've been real busy. Like, I have not been motivated to post YouTube videos. But the discipline, but the routines, but the consistency, but the, standard that I've set for myself is that I'm going to get up, I'm going to post a video every single day, no matter how late, how early, how tired I am, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to post it every day. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to be disciplined. Like, motivation, the people that are driven off motivation don't get very far in life, because motivation is not, I'm not going to say it's not real. It is very real, but motivation is not always going to be there. Like, you don't need motivation at all. And I'm a perfect example of that. All you need is discipline, consistency, and standards. Just meet your standard every day, and you will never be driven off motivation, like, ever. And take accountability for your standards. If you don't meet that standard that day, think about, okay, what did I do wrong? What could I have done differently? Where did I waste time? Like those questions I talked about earlier. Like, take accountability for the reasons that you don't meet your standard. Take accountability for the reasons that you don't move forward in the day. As long as you take accountability, bro, like, you're still growing, whether or not you met your standard that day, whether or not you made progress that day. Like, if you take accountability for those things, if you take responsibility for those things, I promise you, you're still making progress. You're still growing, because taking accountability and taking responsibility is a level that you need to, complete to become that best version of yourself that you want to be. And that's real. Like, you cannot wait for someone else to check on you. You cannot wait for somebody to, come in and save you. Like, you got to save yourself. You got to check on yourself. You got to reflect yourself. Like, that's accountability. That's responsibility. You have to be there for yourself when nobody else is. You got to check on yourself when nobody else checks on you. You got to save yourself when nobody else comes to save you. Because like I've said before, nobody's coming to save you. The version that you want to become, that best version of yourself that you want to be, is built on the decisions that you make in the private. It's built on how many times you can take accountability. It's built on how many times you can take responsibility. Like, all these things happen in private. No, nobody got to see this. Nobody got to see this. All these things are built in private. All these things are done in private. So do you have enough self-respect for yourself to start taking accountability? Do you have enough self-respect to start taking responsibility? Like, that's all on you. You got to have enough self-respect to do that, because nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to save you. Nobody's going to check on you. Nobody's going to help you out. Like, you got to do that yourself. You got to do this in the private. So like I said, do you have enough self-respect to do that? I know you do. You know you do. You just got to bring it out of you. You just got to start taking accountability and start taking responsibility, and see how much progress you make. See how much you start to grow. See how many steps you start to take forward. But that'll be all for this video, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you like this video, go hit that sub button. We're on the way to 300 subs. Appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I'll see you on the next one.